Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jules Onuk and welcome to another episode of Enigma by Jul. Hi, it is the first time seeing me. Hi, I'm so glad you found me, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, like this video, and if you have any case you guys would like me to touch on, put it down in the comment section and I'll be up to the task. So it's the month of June, and if you watched my last video, I said that this month of June I'm going to talk about cases that bring awareness to the hate crime that surrounds the LGBTQ community, and that is what I'm going to do. Last week we spoke about Matthew Shepard, and this week we are going to talk about the Orlando shooting murder that happened in Florida. So let's get into this case. I can remember this case when it happened. I can remember watching this case on TV. It happened as clear as day, and I was like, rah. Like when I was watching it, I was just there, like I was so shocked because I was just wondering, like, why would someone decide to just wake up one morning and be this useless and be a menace to the society just because they're projecting towards something? We're going to talk about the Orlando shooting of 2016. So the Orlando shooting of 2016 is also known as the Pulse nightclub shooting. So till this time, this was known to be the most deadliest mass shooting in the USA. So this was the shooting that left 49 people dead and over 50 people wounded, and it happened in the early hours of June 12, 2016. And coincidentally, I am recording this case on the 5th anniversary of when this case took place. So before we go into the details of this case, let's just go a little bit into the background of the shooter and who the shooter is, their upbringing, and what may have led them to commit such heinous crime. The gunman was a 29-year-old man named Omar Mateen, who was born as Omar Sadiq Mateen in November 16, 1986. He moved to Florida with his parents, and even as a child he was known to show interest in violence, and he was known to be a problematic child. In his third grade, a teacher wrote that he was very active, constantly moving, verbally abusive, rude, aggressive, much talk about violence and sex, hands all over the place, on other children, and in his mouth. This was in his third grade, and he already was getting like complaints from his teachers because like he made people feel very uncomfortable. In his 7th grade, Martin was moved to a separate class because the purpose of doing this was because he was always getting into conflict with his other students. So because of this, to reduce or to avoid conflict between him and other students in the school, he was moved to a separate class. His classmates said that he was a bully who disrespected girls and always acted like he was better than every other person that he came across. Another student also came out to say that while he was in school, that he was actually being bullied because of his weight, his height, and also because of his Afghan heritage. His parents also described him as being dismissive, so anytime his parents actually called him out for his wrongdoings, he would dismiss his parents, and he was not ready for change. His dad also came out and said that he had a reputation of being disrespectful to female teachers and basically just being dismissive to complaints that the school will call him out on. When Martin was in his 8th grade, his teacher actually sent a letter to his dad. This letter was talking about Martin's attitude and his inability to control himself. In 2000, he began his secondary school in St. Martin's County, and when he was 14, he was expelled because he was in a fight in his math class. Due to this fight, he was arrested, but he wasn't handcuffed, and he was charged with battery and disruption to school properties. But then these charges were dropped almost immediately. So we can see that this guy has a pattern, like right from when he was a child till like when he was 14. We've seen that he's always like kind of been a problem, and this case, like, we wouldn't say, like, if we look at his background, he didn't come from a problematic household. His dad was also known to be an informant, a spy for the FBI at some point, an international spy for the FBI. So obviously, if he didn't come from a high class background, he would have come from a middle class background, because he came from like a normal American household. But his parents, you could see that his parents, his dad, his mom, his family, his teachers, everybody, they were doing everything they could just to, like, you know, try to see if they could bring out the best in this guy. And he was always being dismissive, and we've not seen any case where maybe he was influenced by friends. So in this case, would you think the nature nurture law comes in? Because obviously, like, when I looked at this, like, when I, because there's only one source that had his background history, but like when I looked at it, I was like, this was not, I don't think his behavior was influenced by what was going on around his surroundings or in his house. Like, I don't think it was influenced by that. So like when it comes to his case, someone that's been very problematic right from when he was a child till like at this point when he's 14, what would you think was the cause of this? Like, what would you think would make like a child be so aggressive from being a child to like when he's a teenager? So in 2013, he became a person of interest by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they launched a preliminary investigation on him. And this was because he had told a co-worker, okay, he was working in a security firm, he was working as a security, so he told his co-worker that he had ties with the Al-Qaeda of Hezbollah, and his co-workers reported him to the authority. So the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they actually conducted a preliminary investigation on him just to make sure that, okay, that he was not part of them, and he was actually cleared from this because they did not find any proof that he had ties with the Al-Qaeda of Hezbollah. So like I said, he was investigated for 10 months and charges were dropped because there was no proof that he had ties with them. In 2014, an FBI also questioned him because an associate of his became a suicide bomber for the Nusra Front, which is also a terrorist group in Syria. Mateen later told a friend that he was watching jihadist videos of the Al-Qaeda propagandists, and this friend told the authorities, and again he was also investigated, but the police and the authorities, they did not find any evidence to prove that yes, he was watching these jihadist videos, and the charges were dropped. Al-Qaeda is a broad-based militant Islamic organization that was founded by Osama bin Laden in the late 1980s. I don't know if you guys can remember Osama bin Laden, who Barack Obama shot dead. Yeah, so it was founded by Osama bin Laden. So now let's go into what happened that night. So like I said initially, this case happened in the early hours of June 12, 2016, and it happened like around 2 a.m. Paul's Club in Orlando, at this time it was known as the biggest, one of the biggest nightclubs in Florida. So every week they hold a Latin theme event, and this particular night, this particular evening, that's what they were doing. So this event was coming to an end around 2 a.m 3 a.m, around that time, when this was the time this man opened fire. So I had the opportunity to watch like videos from the surviving victims, right from one guy named Angel, who was nearly shot, like he was nearly dead. He was nearly shot dead. He had to pretend like he was dead so that he won't get shot, and he had to watch this guy shoot people around him, even the person beside him. But when this guy pointed the gun at him, he shot his hand and shot his leg, and he did not scream. I don't know how he did not scream, but he did not scream. He had to play dead, and he, thank God, he made it alive, and he didn't die before the authorities actually came to save him. There were more than 300 people in that club, and Omar Mateen, he had an automatic rifle on him, and because he had an automatic rifle on him, like, it was nearly impossible for anybody to be free from this or be safe from the bullets. And let's say like nobody stood a chance. Like, it became a case of luck or grace that, you know, that one was spared. So like I said earlier, like 49 people had died, even though there were like over 300 people. 49 people had died and over 50 people were injured. So the gunman was carrying an AR-15 type assault rifle and a handgun, and he exchanged fire near the entrance with a police officer that was working at the club at that time. So due to this, the police officers alerted other police officers, and when additional police officers arrived at the scene, there was a second gun battle that actually ensued inside this club. So he took several people hostage into the bathroom at the back of the building, and then he also told the police that he had explosives and he was going to blow the whole place up. So at this point, the police, they were actually able to save and to rescue dozens and dozens of people, and also to get them out of the club. So this guy, like I said, he moved through the club. He was shooting people. He even went to the toilet. He was shooting people. He took people hostage, and he told the authorities that yes, he had explosives that he was going to use as a gun. And to be honest, he was basically exchanging fire with the police. And obviously, when it came to cases like this, the police had to be much more careful with how they were dealing with the whole case. And also at the same time, the police, they were also trying to save the people that were alive at that point. So I watched some videos of some survivors that were in this club, and they basically explained things that happened. Also, there was also a video of a man who came out to say that Omar was a homosexual, and that he used to come to the club, that people knew Omar. He used to come to the club and like try to pick men from the club and things like that. So like he was not really shocked when he heard that Omar was the shooter, because even when he came to the club, he was someone that people didn't really used to associate with, because people found him to be this weird person, this strange person. So that's what the man said. At the time, Omar's dad came out and said that Omar saw a gay couple kissing, and it made him very furious. So his dad was like that maybe this was what triggered him to go to Paul's nightclub to kill the people that were in Paul's nightclub. Omar spoke with negotiators like 3 times over the course of 28 minutes, and he told the negotiators that he actually placed bomb in the car parks, and he was also wearing a bomb vest, and that he was holding people hostage. And also he got his phone, and then he was reading news about the case from his phone. And also he also messaged his wife. I forgot to put this. Yes, Omar was married, and he had been married twice. So he was messaging his wife, and this was like around 4:28 a.m. So around 4:21 a.m. the police officers and the trap patrons, they were able to remove an air conditioning unit from the walls, and this made survivors like surviving victims to come out through that hole and receive intensive care. And the people who escaped told police that Omar was planning to place bomb vests over 4 hostages within 15 minutes. So due to this information, the SWAT team decided to breach the walls with the explosive that they had, because they didn't want this to happen. At 5:02 a.m. the Orlando police, they were able to smash the wall of the club with an armored vehicle, and this was how Omar Mateen was killed. So Omar Mateen, he got into a gun battle with the police officers, and due to this gun battle, he was killed in the process. Let's talk about the motive and the aftermath of this event. So like I said earlier, like there's someone that came out and said that Omar was homosexual, that when he came, that was not his first time at the club, that when he came to the club he tried to get men, but people just saw him as weird, so they never followed him. And I also think that was also a trigger. But other people said that they had seen Omar on dating websites and gay websites, but the police, they were not able to support these claims, because they had checked his browsing history, they had checked his phone and checked his records, and they had not seen any trace of Omar being associated with any dating sites or being gay or being that kind of person. But again, I just think that he knew how to do his work well, because like I said, he spoke to his friend, that he listened to all these recordings, all this video of this terrorist group, and anytime the FBI searched him, or he had like an investigation going on around him, they were not able to come up with a conclusion, because they did not find any proof that he was doing those things. So I'm just thinking like maybe he didn't use his own computer, or I just feel like he had a way of doing his things without like him being caught. Maybe he went to a public computer to do his thing, or I don't know, maybe it was somebody else's, or maybe he had a burner phone or a different account or something like that. So like personally, I feel like maybe he was, because like hundreds of people cannot come and say, oh, I've seen him on this dating site, or I've seen him on that dating site, or like maybe I saw him in the club, he's come to the club before, because the man actually sounded so sure. The man was like that, yeah, he's seen him in the club before, that like he always comes to the club, but like people like literally did not always have his time, because like people always saw him as this weird kind of guy, so like they just did not want to associate themselves with him. Also, the police, they were also looking into his wife, that maybe his wife knew that he was going to go and bomb the club or shoot people, but there was no evidence to actually prove that yeah, his wife was a partner, or his wife knew anything that was going on with him or knew about his plans. The shooting that happened at the Pulse Club also represented the deadliest single incident targeting the LGBTQ community in the US history, and this surpassed the one in June 24th, 1973 arson attack on the upstairs lounge in New Orleans. This fire, it actually claimed the lives of 32 people, and among them were the congregants of the pro-LGBTQ Christian church that were meeting at the bar after the conclusion service. So the fire in New Orleans, it was known to be the deadliest in New Orleans history, but public officials, they largely ignored the events, because with neither the mayor nor the Louisiana governor issuing a statement, the local churches, they refused to hold funerals for the dead, mostly because they were LGBTQ. So the One World Trade Center and the Eiffel Tower, they actually illuminated with the colors of the rainbow to pay support and tribute to the dead during this time. Also, US President Andrew Biden, they were able to meet with survivors and victims of the Pulse shooting in Orlando, and also Obama also renewed his call for a legislative response to gun violence, which I do not think that has done anything till now, because till now the aspect of gun violence is still a very serious issue in America. President Obama, he also described this attack to be a terrorist attack and also a hate crime, and he stressed that attack on any American regarding race, sexuality, ethnicity, religion is also known to be a hate crime. Killing gay people is a hate crime, and I feel like killing gay people is the absolute worst of homophobia that anybody can do. And killing people, whether they are straight, they are gay, or like maybe they don't believe in your religion, or their color is different from your color, even if just killing people because you don't believe in what they're standing, or you don't believe in, you don't have their mindset. I feel like killing people in general is just the worst thing you can ever actually ever do to someone, because I feel like people have the right to live their life or be whoever they want to be, and this case still haunts people till now, especially like the families of the victim. Imagine going out for a night out, knowing that you're going to come back, you're not going to come back, or maybe you'll come back wounded or with a broken leg, or being shot or disabled for life because there's somebody out there that is triggered by your existence. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this case, and till next time guys, see you next week. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment if you have any more cases you'd like me to touch on. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye. At 5:02 a.m. the Orlando police station, thank you, to create this horrible history in the line. You can hear me. God. How do you know what I said?
Because like my music is low.
So I lost my mind. Okay. So in my last video,
you need to add bloopers to this one.
So okay, so